What's good, everybody? My name is Jay Fatty. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about using RC-20, alright, and a little tutorial on that, so let's get right into it. Alright, so here's how these drums sound without RC-20. Now with RC-20. Alright, so as you can hear there, RC-20 definitely adds a lot of vinyl or vintage sound to the drums. You can get different sounds with it, but that's really what it is known for, is to add that warmth and just really give you a vintage, almost nostalgic sound with whatever you put it on. Now, obviously, when you do that for drums, and especially for boom bap, that's going to be nothing but sauce, alright? So, a little quick tutorial on how I get that sound. Alright, so let's just pull up a new copy of RC-20 here. Alright, so if we go down to the Vinyl 3 preset, that's the one that I like to mess with the most. Alright, so let me put this other one away. Let's listen to these drums. See, it's already got that sound because it's this tube pair distort option. If you go to the distort tab, let's just solo this out. We'll mute all the other ones. So obviously each preset in this distort sounds different. If you really want that nostalgic vibe, that warmth, tube pair is always the way to go. Crunch is always another good option, but that's just going to make it hit a lot harder. And then each one of these little effects you got, the noise, wobble, distort, digital, space, and magnetic, you have a mix knob right here for that specific effect. So you can mix it in or just completely turn it off. You can also just mute it. Alright, so once we get the distort how we want it, I also like to go over to the noise. You see how after I stopped the drums, the noise kept going afterwards? That's because the follow option isn't on. If you put the follow on, and depending how much you put on, it's going to follow the main part of the drums. So if we have it all the way up, it's actually just going to sound like it's layering the kick. So let's start low and just bring it all the way up and you'll be able to hear the difference. See how it stopped a lot faster than when it was down here? So yeah, if you have this going on and you're noticing at the end of your track there's a lot of extra noise, check your RC-20 and make sure the follow's on a little bit, just to get rid of that. You can also go through different vinyl sounds. I really like how Vinyl 2 sounds though for the noise. Now wobble, I don't really mess with much. I keep it on, but I don't mess with it. This is really going to just add some flutter or wow, as you would call it. Let's actually turn this on really loud and see the difference. So we'll just bring it back to default, but yeah, that's up to you if you want to mess with that or not. It really can make your drum sound weird, so that's why I just keep it on a little bit, just to get a little bit of a wobble. Digital, I don't really mess with this effect with drums because you'll hear if I turn it on. It makes it sound glitchy and really messed up, and that's actually dope if you're doing that kind of genre, like some trippy drum and bass or some stuff like that. You can really do some cool stuff automating this in. But for right now, we're going to keep that off. And space, all spaces is just reverb. So a lot of the times I'll mix it in a little bit, but really just give reverb on the higher frequencies of the drums. So if you mess with this focus knob here, it's got a slider that will indicate the range. And whatever range you select, that's what is going to be affected by the reverb. So if we move it up a little bit, we're not going to be getting the lower end of the drums. We don't want the bass and stuff like that to really be reverbed. And once again, you can in certain instances, but for this case, I don't want that. I just want some higher reverb. I'm also going to turn the decay level down and mess with this space option. And since these are drums, we're also going to turn the stereo button off. Most of the time, you're going to want your drums in mono. Now, that also goes down to this width knob right here. You can bring this all the way to the left, and that'll 100% put it in mono, or you could bring it all the way to 200% in stereo. But for drums, we're going to want to be more in mono. Once again, it just depends on the track. But for hip-hop, drums are usually in mono. Now, the last effect here is the magnetic. Bring this all the way up and mess with this dropout a little bit in this rate, you'll really be able to hear what it's going to do. The magnetic is really messing with the volume of it. It's going to automate the volume to make it sound quieter or louder, and then if you mess with this dropout knob, it's going to add a bunch of different dropouts in the actual drum loop, meaning you'll hear the actual drums cut out for a second and then come back in. So magnetic, I'll keep it on a little bit, but I won't usually mess with the dropouts unless I'm specifically looking for the cuts in the drums. I'll just turn it up a little bit or keep it where it's at by default. Now if we look down here, you also got some other options. You can mess with the total frequency spectrum right here. See, if we bring this back or up, we can cut the lower parts of the drum loop, the lower frequencies of the drum loop, and then same thing over here, we can cut the higher frequencies. By default, it cuts like 60 hertz or up by 50 hertz around here, maybe 40 hertz. So I usually keep it at that, and you can change the mode as well. This cut mode is a low shelf, and it's going to have a soft low end roll off. And then this other option is going to have a steeper low end cutoff with a resonant peak. All right. And then obviously you got your gain knob for in and your gain knob for out. We talked about the width knob, and then here's something that's cool. You got a tone knob. So if we listen to these drums while messing with this, you can get some interesting tonality changes inside the actual drum loop. And this one also has a mode as well. So this first mode is tilt, and turning tone clockwise means more high end and less low end, and vice versa. But if you click the other mode, that's turning tone clockwise means more mid and less high / low end, and vice versa. So let's hear that option. So that is a really cool option to change the tonality of your drums completely and shift the feel of your track. But yeah, that's a quick tutorial on RC-20. Now keep in mind, we really just talked about using this for drums, but you can use this for anything. Put this on everything and be experimental and creative with it. There's a bunch of different presets. This really can add a lot of sauce. And if you're thinking about buying RC-20, I would 100% recommend it. It's definitely worth the investment. It's going to just level up your beat game that much more. So yeah, if this video brought you value, please leave a like, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell. Make sure you stay safe, stay striving, and always be getting it. Much love, y'all. Peace.